My days often felt like a series of identical, polished surfaces reflecting nothing but a profound emptiness. At my architectural firm, I stared at a computer model of yet another glass skyscraper, its lines cold and devoid of any human touch. Despite the prestigious projects and the comfortable salary, a gnawing dissatisfaction persisted, a quiet yearning for something more meaningful than these sterile monuments to commerce. One evening, instead of my usual efficient route home, an inexplicable impulse led me down a forgotten side street. There, nestled between two nondescript storefronts, stood the Gilded Page Bookstore. Its large front window was dusty, the green paint on its doorframe peeling, yet a curious charm emanated from its faded facade. It was a stark contrast to my world of chrome and glass, stirring a nostalgic curiosity within me. Driven by an unforeseen pull, I stepped inside. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and dust. Amidst towering, disheveled bookshelves, a woman, Sophia, with long, wavy auburn hair, struggled with a heavy box of books. Her brow was furrowed with effort, her movements strained, yet her determined expression clearly indicated a fierce resolve despite the overwhelming task before her. Observing her struggle, my professional instincts immediately took over. You know, that load distribution could compromise the structural integrity of these old floors, I remarked, perhaps a little too directly. Sophia dropped the box with a thud, turning sharply. Her bright green eyes narrowed, instantly defensive, as she clearly perceived me as just another developer eyeing her family's property for demolition, given the building's dilapidated state. No, you misunderstand, I quickly clarified, raising my hands placatingly. I'm an architect, and I have a deep appreciation for historical buildings, not an interest in tearing them down. To illustrate my point, I pulled out a pen and, on a discarded napkin, sketched a quick, impressive vision of how the space could be lovingly restored, preserving its character while enhancing its functionality. Sophia, though visibly surprised by my sketch, remained guarded. "This isn't just any old building," she stated, her voice tinged with both vulnerability and pride. "This was my grandfather's bookstore, a place he poured his life into." She explained the dire financial straits, the looming threat of foreclosure, and her desperate, solitary struggle to save this cherished legacy from being lost forever. Her story resonated deeply with me, awakening a sense of purpose I hadn't felt in years. "I can help you," I offered, the words coming easily. "I'll create proper architectural plans pro bono to make the restoration feasible and appealing to potential investors." Sophia hesitated, her caution evident. Nevertheless, the glimmer of hope in her eyes was undeniable, leading to a reluctant yet promising partnership. Our initial days were spent in the arduous task of cleaning. While meticulously wiping down an old, ornate wooden desk, Sophia's hand brushed against something hidden beneath a loose floorboard. It was a thick, leather-bound journal with a brass clasp. Recognizing it as her grandfather's, we opened it together for the very first time, a shared moment of profound intrigue and reverence for the past. True to my word, I returned a few days later with the first set of professional blueprints. I unrolled the crisp, large sheets on a dusty makeshift table, their precise blue and black lines contrasting sharply with the chaotic environment. Sophia gasped, her initial skepticism dissolving into genuine awe as she took in the detailed floor plans and structural concepts. The professionalism and meticulous detail of the drawings truly took her aback, instilling a newfound optimism. With the plans laid out, we transitioned from conceptualization to tangible effort. The physical work was demanding. We spent hours clearing out old, damaged books, their pages brittle with age, and meticulously cleaning every dusty surface. Despite the initial awkwardness and the sheer grime, we gradually established an efficient rhythm, our movements becoming synchronized as we worked side by side, united by a common goal. During a much-needed break, Sophia found a passage in her grandfather's journal, its worn covers telling stories of generations. She began to read aloud, her voice a soft murmur, detailing a particularly eccentric customer who once tried to pay for a rare first edition with a sack of potatoes. The absurdity of the anecdote, described with her grandfather's dry wit, caught me off guard. A genuine, unrestrained laugh burst from me, quickly joined by Sophia's bright, melodic giggle. It was our first shared moment of pure, unadulterated joy amidst the dust and disarray, a true connection forming. Our progress was abruptly halted when Sophia pointed upwards, her brow furrowed with concern. A fresh, damp stain, dark and spreading, marred a section of the ornate plaster ceiling. Sophia's immediate worry was palpable. The bookstore had faced countless issues. Nevertheless, my architectural training kicked in, allowing me to quickly assess the situation. I traced the likely path of the water, identifying a loose flashing on the roof as the probable culprit. My practical skills, honed over years, offered an immediate solution, bringing a wave of relief over Sophia's face. The first true creative conflict arose over an ancient, rickety bookshelf near the front window. Its shelves bowed under the weight of decades, clearly a safety hazard. I argued that replacing it was essential for structural integrity and customer safety, given its precarious state. Sophia, however, vehemently disagreed, her voice tinged with frustration. She insisted on preserving it, explaining it was one of her grandfather's first editions, imbued with irreplaceable sentimental value. The tension was thick, a clash between my pragmatic logic and her fierce emotional attachment. Later that evening, the disagreement still lingering, I revisited the issue. I spent hours sketching, determined to find a middle ground that respected Sophia's sentimentality without compromising safety. The next morning, I unrolled a new set of blueprints for her, meticulously detailing a reinforcement plan. It showed how hidden steel supports could be integrated, preserving the shelf's original aesthetic while making it robust. Sophia's initial skepticism softened as she examined the drawings. A relieved smile slowly graced her lips. It was a thoughtful compromise, pleasing us both. We worked late into the night, painting a particularly stubborn wall, the rhythmic sweep of brushes a comforting sound. Exhaustion eventually set in, our bodies aching, paint smudges adorning our clothes and faces. We collapsed onto a drop cloth, sharing a thermos of lukewarm coffee, the silence punctuated only by the distant hum of the city. The conversation drifted beyond the bookstore's immediate future, moving to our personal aspirations. In that intimate moment, surrounded by the scent of fresh paint, we spoke of our deepest dreams and fears, forging a new level of understanding. As the coffee warmed us, I found myself opening up, something I rarely did. I spoke of my initial passion for architecture, the profound satisfaction of creating meaningful spaces that could shape lives. However, I admitted my current disillusionment with the corporate world, where creativity often yielded to profit margins and soulless structures. My voice, usually measured, carried a hint of melancholy as I confessed how this project, The Gilded Page, was rekindling a forgotten spark. It was a candid admission of my professional struggles and a nascent hope. Sophia listened intently, her bright green eyes fixed on me, offering silent understanding. Then she reciprocated, sharing her own struggles as an artist, the daunting blank canvas, the constant self-doubt. She spoke of the immense pressure she felt to live up to her grandfather's legacy, not just with the bookstore, but in her own creative endeavors. His journal, filled with his wisdom and passion, felt like both a guide and an impossible standard. Her voice, usually so vibrant, was tinged with a raw vulnerability, revealing the heavy weight she carried. A few days later, a cryptic entry in the grandfather's journal caught Sophia's eye, hinting at a hidden space behind a specific bookshelf. The designated shelf was massive, a towering monolith of oak laden with forgotten tomes. Despite its immense weight, we decided to tackle it together, fueled by a growing sense of anticipation. We braced ourselves, pushing and straining, muscles burning with the strenuous effort. Dust motes danced wildly in the air as the heavy furniture slowly, grudgingly began to inch away from the wall, revealing the dark space behind it. As the bookshelf finally cleared the wall, we gasped simultaneously. Hidden for decades, a breathtaking, hand-painted mural of a celestial map emerged from the gloom. Vibrant blues, deep purples, and shimmering golds depicted constellations, planets, and mythical creatures, all rendered with astonishing detail. It was a masterpiece, a secret universe painted directly onto the wall of the Gilded Page bookstore. We stood in stunned silence, awestruck by the unexpected beauty, a tangible piece of her grandfather's hidden artistry. In the soft, ethereal glow cast by the newly revealed mural, we stood mesmerized, our gazes fixed on the celestial map. As we both reached out, almost instinctively, to touch a shimmering constellation, our hands brushed. The contact was fleeting, yet charged with an undeniable, unspoken emotion that seemed to reverberate through the quiet space. Our eyes met, holding for a beat longer than usual. In that moment, illuminated by the ancient stars, we saw each other differently, a profound shift occurring between us. A sleek black car pulled up to the Gilded Page. A sharply dressed man, Richard Thorne, emerged, his suit crisp and his briefcase gleaming. He stepped inside, his gaze sweeping over the dusty shelves with thinly veiled disdain. Thorne represented a development firm, dismissing the bookstore as an outdated relic. He presented an offer to buy the property, his tone dismissive of its history. Sophia's green eyes flashed with fierce determination. She passionately refused Thorne's offer, her voice ringing with conviction. "This isn't just a building, it's my family's legacy," she declared, her stance unwavering. I stood firmly by her side, a silent, unified front against his corporate ambition. Thorne's polite smile faltered, clearly unaccustomed to such defiance. After Thorne left, a heavy silence settled between us. We realized the developer's threat was real. We needed significant funds to fight back. Finishing the restoration was also paramount. Sophia's eyes lit up suddenly. "A community fundraiser!" she exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. It was a strategic move, leveraging local support. We immediately got to work, fueled by a renewed sense of purpose. Sophia designed vibrant flyers, hand-drawing whimsical illustrations of books and coffee cups. I helped craft the compelling narrative for social media posts. We highlighted the bookstore's rich history and the newly discovered mural. Our hope was to attract widespread attention and support. I channeled my architectural precision into creating a captivating presentation. Using my blueprints, I visualized the bookstore's future, blending its classic charm with modern functionality. The presentation wasn't just about structure, it was about the soul of the place. I meticulously chose images and text, ensuring every slide told a part of our story. This project felt deeply personal, far beyond mere design. Sophia, meanwhile, became a whirlwind of outreach. She called local artists, writers, and even some of her grandfather's old friends. She invited them to participate in the fundraiser, offering their talents. Her network was surprisingly vast and deeply rooted in the community. Her resourcefulness was truly impressive, drawing people together for our cause. One evening, we found ourselves on the bookstore's rooftop. The city lights twinkled below, a vast, quiet expanse. The pressure of the impending fundraiser was immense, yet we shared a peaceful moment. We sat in comfortable silence, the shared burden drawing us closer. In that quiet intimacy, I felt a profound connection forming between us. I turned to Sophia, a confession forming on my lips, something about how I felt. However, my phone suddenly vibrated, a jarring interruption. It was my demanding boss, Mr. Davies, pulling me back to my other reality. The moment shattered, leaving unspoken words hanging in the cool night air. Frustration welled up inside me, a sharp contrast to the earlier peace. The night before the fundraiser was a flurry of activity. We put the finishing touches on the main area of the store. The clutter was gone, replaced by carefully arranged displays and warm lighting. It was starting to look truly beautiful, a testament to our shared effort. Anxious anticipation mixed with a profound sense of pride filled the air. Sophia turned to me, a small antique compass in her hand. Its brass casing was worn smooth, and the needle quivered gently. "For helping me find my way," she said softly, her green eyes full of gratitude. It was a deeply meaningful gift, far more than just an object. Her words resonated, a tender acknowledgement of our journey together. The gilded page hummed with an energy I had only dreamed of. The community, drawn by Sophia's passionate appeals and the bookstore's unfolding story, turned out in force. Families browsed shelves, children laughed, and the air vibrated with supportive chatter. It was a lively, successful beginning, a testament to what collective effort could achieve. Sophia, standing amidst the books that were her heritage, began to speak. Her voice, initially soft, swelled with heartfelt emotion as she spoke of legacy, the profound importance of community, and the enduring power of stories. Every word was genuine, resonating deeply with the captivated audience. I watched her, profoundly moved by her passion and conviction. Mid-speech, a sharp-suited figure, Mr. Davies, the developer, pushed through the crowd. His presence instantly chilled the warm atmosphere. He presented Sophia with a final, inflated offer and a notice of expedited foreclosure, attempting to intimidate everyone present. His voice was cold, designed to assert dominance and crush hope. Before Sophia could respond, I stepped forward, my voice calm despite the tension. Leveraging my meticulous research into city planning and building codes, I revealed that the Gilded Page was eligible for landmark status. Crucially, I had already filed the necessary paperwork, protecting the building from demolition. Mr. Davies's confident smirk faltered, replaced by a look of disbelief. Defeated, Mr. Davies, his face contorted in frustration, turned and abruptly left the bookstore. A collective gasp of relief swept through the crowd, swiftly followed by an eruption of cheers and applause. The fundraiser instantly transformed into a joyous celebration, a resounding victory for community over corporate greed. Sophia and I exchanged a look of profound, shared triumph. Later that night, the bookstore was quiet again, bathed in the soft glow of a few remaining lamps. The last guests had departed, leaving only Sophia and me amidst the silent shelves. The adrenaline from the day's events slowly faded, replaced by a profound exhaustion. We stood, looking at each other, the weight of everything we had achieved hanging unspoken in the air. I broke the silence, my voice softer than usual. "Sophia," I began, "working on this bookstore, seeing it come back to life, it's in the most meaningful work of my entire life." I took a breath. "I've quit my job. I want to stay here, to see this through, to be a part of this future." The words felt liberating, a true declaration of purpose. Sophia's eyes welled up, tears beginning to trace paths down her cheeks. "Benjamin," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion, "this bookstore, it wouldn't exist without you." She stepped closer, her hand reaching for mine. "And my feelings for you," she confessed, her voice barely audible, "they're so much more than just gratitude." Surrounded by the comforting scent of old paper and wood, under the soft, ethereal glow of the newly restored mural, we finally closed the distance between us. It was a heartfelt, long-awaited kiss, a culmination of shared struggles, quiet moments, and unspoken affections. In that moment, the bookstore felt like a sanctuary, a silent witness to our new beginning. Months later, the grand reopening of the Gilded Page was a resounding success. The store, now vibrant and inviting, bustled with happy customers, a true community hub. Sophia and I stood behind the counter together, our hands clasped, a silent promise. We looked at each other, then out at the lively store, our shared future unfolding before us, bright and full of promise.
Si te gustó el video, pon me gusta, suscríbete y activa la campanita para ver más historias.